Okay, so we started hiking on Kirkwood Trail or Kirk Creek Trail, whatever this
4
is.
feet in.
And we ran into some trouble pretty quickly. What was the trouble?
My backpack wasn't on right.
Her bag was hitting her in the back of the head with every step she took. And so we thought we would take this opportunity to go through a quick bag check and see how to correctly fit a bag. Just pretty basic and pretty simply. Okay, so the first thing we noticed was that Rachel's brain, now this is the brain of the backpack and it's supposed to sit up like this. First thing we noticed was that Rachel's brain is way
stomach.
down here.
My brain was in my stomach.
And we don't want that. So what we're going to do is adjust the strap so that the brain sits up on top where it's supposed to be. So first off, what we'll do is unclip them right here so they're not latched on to the bottom here. And then we'll look at the sides of the brain, the other connecting points, one on either side, right at about the level of the straps. And we want to get those so they're going over the top. So we can loosen those up to start. Put them up and over and then tighten them. Tighten them once more.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Did that fix the problem?
Mostly, yeah.
If you pull on it, does it go back down? No. That looks pretty good. So we want to tighten things up as much as we can just to make the pack compact, because the looser things are, the more they swing, the more energy it takes out of your step. So tighten these up, make that brain nice and tight. Maybe I will get some brain later. Who knows? All right. So we have that taken care of for now. Now also, you might see that they are covering these clips now, which we might have to adjust later, so we'll loosen those up just a little bit. Maybe make these more accessible. Let's see, how does that do? Oh, that just brought the problem back to us. So I think what we'll do, we'll keep it like that, and you can still access them, yeah. Okay, so let's put this baby on. Now, Rachel just demonstrated a bad way to put on a pack. That's right, you're learning too, we're all learning. So when I was on trail, I put on my pack just like how Rachel put it on. I picked it up by the shoulder strap here and swung it around to put on my back. By 1,500 miles, my shoulder strap was coming undone right here. It was becoming disconnected. Now, I don't think that's a manufacturing defect. I think that is just because of the wear and tear of the bag. If you're gonna have one for a long time, there's certain places where stresses are put onto it where they're not meant to take that stress. So, she's already figuring it out. She has her hand on this toe strap there. So what I do, I would pick it up by the toe strap and put my arm through it and then let go once my shoulder was already in it. There you go. Okay, so now we have so now that it's on her shoulders, we're going to fit it to her. So the first straps that we do are the hip straps. And I generally start with all of them loose. So we buckle the hip strap. You want this hip belt to be sitting halfway above the top of your hip bone over on the side. Cinch up the hip strap and you want these two to be even. Okay, so her hip belt is buckled and it's nice and snug, sitting squarely and about halfway over her hip bones on the sides. After the hip belt is cinched, you lean forward like a table and you tighten your shoulder straps by pulling them back like a skier. There you go. So now that those are adjusted, the last thing you adjust is your load lifters, which are these ones up here. And that's really up to the person who does it. Some people like them real tight, real high. Some people like the bag hanging out. And what those load lifters do is they vary how close the bag will sit to your shoulders. So if you loosen them, they'll sit out like this. If you tighten them, they'll get closer to your back like that. And jump a little, walk uphill a little, see if it smacks you in the back of the head again. So we adjusted the brain back so it was no longer covering these load lifters. And so that allows her to access them. She can loosen them and tighten them up now without having to get underneath this. So we loosened the brain a little bit, pulled it up just so this lip here was over the frame. You guys see that yellow frame that runs across the back here? So we just pulled the lip over that and tightened it up so it wasn't covering these load lifters on each side. Then we loosened up the load lifters and her bag stopped hitting her in the back of the head, which is good.
Yay.
Okay, so the last step is to secure your chest strap, and you don't want that to be too tight. Not too tight that it constricts your breathing, but you want it to help keep everything snug. Good? All right.
Good.
And we're ready to hike. Huge booger. Wait, this was a Christmas present.
Yeah, for me.
That's why I like it so much. My booger's gone?
No.
My booger's gone?
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a wet one. You good? Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Start over.
Okay. We should use that though.